Hi, my name is Kit. I'm a TEFL teacher. I've been teaching for 9 years now, 2 years in Poland, a year in Italy, and since then here in London. We're going to talk about directions. We're going to be talking about asking and giving directions. And we're going to be doing some listening and some speaking. And we'll look at some useful vocabulary. We're going to listen to 3 people asking for directions and getting directions. Please, can you write what I tell you? Number 1. What is the name? What is the name of the place they are looking for? Stacy, can you repeat that back to me?
What is the name of the place they are looking for?
Okay, is that what we all have? Good. Number 2, how are they going to get there? How are they going to get there? How are they going to get there? Please look at your partner and see if they have the same. Okay, everybody ready to listen? Yeah. Yes, good.
1.
Excuse me?
Yeah?
Can you help me? I'm looking for Church Street.
Church Street? Sorry, I don't really know. Do you know where Church Street is?
Where? Church Street?
Church Street? Oh, right, yeah. You go down to the end here, down to this set of traffic lights, and turn left at the lights. That's Renton Street. And when you come to another set of lights, go straight on. And then the next right is Church Street. There's a big garage, you can't miss it.
So it's left at the lights, then second right where the garage is.
That's it.
Okay then, thanks a lot.
Cheers.
Okay, please tell your partner. Okay, so where? Yeah. And how? By car. Okay, I think it was by car. Good. Let's listen to the second.
Two.
Okay, so we heard lots of directions, but we also heard people asking for directions. On the board, I've written what they asked, but I've left out some words. With the person next to you, so you two together, two, two. Can you talk about what words you think are in the gaps, please? Go. Well, let's listen and let's check now.
Module 8, Recording 9. 1.
Can you help me? I'm looking for Church Street.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does he say can or does he say can? Can. Which word does he really make loud from here? Can you help me? Which word? Help. Okay, so he's stressed help. And here, let's listen again. Let's see what he does.
9. 1.
Can you help me?
What does he say? Can you? Can you? Can you? So it sounds more like can you? Everybody, can you? Can you help me?
Can you help me?
Excuse me, how can we get to Central Station, please?
Excuse me, how can we get to Central Station, please?
Good. With your partner, you two, 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 can you practice saying these sentences to each other, please? Now, is it the Church Street or is it Church Street?
Church Street,
Ah, okay.
not the Church Street. Sorry. Still learning.
Can you take your book and open it on page 77, please? Let's look at some of the language for giving directions now. At the bottom, you'll see some pictures. Above, there's a box with some expressions. Please, can you match the expressions to the pictures? Jonathan, what do I want you to do?
March the sentence in the correct direction.
Lovely. So march or match?
Match.
Match. Lovely. Okay. Okay, so what's the first one? Let's go round. So this one?
Turn left at the traffic lights.
Lovely. So turn left at the traffic lights. The second one? I'm going to give you all a map. So here is your map. You're going to look for these places. I have a different map. I have to ask you where some places are. So I will start with this language. So, can you tell me how to get to the nearest cafe, please?
You cross Station Road with the first street. Go ahead, and after turn right. Turn right.
Go straight and turn right. Brilliant. So do not show your piece of paper to your partner, and practice using the language that we've just used. Okay?
Kit, what were your objectives for this lesson, and what did you want the students to get out of it?
Well, mainly to learn some useful expressions for directions, which would be particularly relevant for them actually staying in London. So, you know, they have the chance to use them in the real situation, in the real world.
At the beginning of the lesson, you explained what you were going to do in some detail. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. Do you always do that?
I do. It's signposting the lesson for me helps me to keep it on track, and it also provides a sequence for the students so they can see that there's some logic behind what they're learning. The other thing that's quite useful is using that as a tool for consolidating the lesson afterwards, actually referring to the points on the board and saying, well, what do you understand by this point? You know, when we say asking directions, can you give me some examples? So, you know,
It's a very good summarising.
it's something I started doing a couple of years ago. You know, I actually learnt, well, I watched another teacher doing it and thought it actually seemed to work quite well, and so I did it.
At the beginning of the lesson, you dictated a whole lot of questions to the students. So why did you dictate the questions rather than, say, just giving them the questions?
Well, first of all, it provided listening and writing practice for them, but also helped to actually keep the students engaged. The questions were actually in the book, but I've found from experience that it's often a good idea to dictate it to keep them engaged. I also think that dictation often helps in a kind of learner-trainer. Well, there's an element of learner training to it. I ask the students to look at each other's questions and actually start the process of learning how to kind of correct their own mistakes, rather than relying on the teacher to actually do that all the time.
Do you normally teach coursebook-based lessons, or was that untypical?
Certainly in London, you know, we use a course book to underpin the course. I think course books are a very useful resource for teaching, but obviously after a few years of experience, you realise that there are certain strengths that you have as a teacher to modify the course book in some ways. In a sense, that's what the dictation was for me. It was modifying the strengths of the book with my own personal strengths, really.